Welcome back to the Hamilton Public Library. This is Linda, and today we'll be making crepe paper flowers. You will need crepe paper in a color of your choice. And you also need a template made in 3 different sizes. So you can see here I have a heart-shaped template, which makes kind of a rose-like flower. I've used a cutting machine to make the heart-shaped template, and the circle I've cut freehand. So you can see why I cut it with a cutting machine, because I'm not great at cutting freehand. But the circle shape will make more of a peony-like flower. And I'll show you how to make your template freehand in case you don't have access to a cutting machine. So you fold a piece of cardstock in half, and I'm just cutting out a heart shape. So the first shape you cut out will be your smallest size. And cardstock is better just because it holds better when you're placing it on top of the crepe paper to cut your shape out. To do the next size up, I'm going to wrap it around the cardstock again, and I'm going to cut out slightly larger than the first. And you're going to do this 3 times. You need 3 different sized petals. So you can see here I've made the first 2 shapes. One is slightly larger than the other, okay? And you're going to need 6 of the large, 5 of the medium, and 8 of the small, more or less. You may need more as you go along, you may need less. So you're just going to kind of play around with it until you get the look of the flower that you like. So I'm going to place my template, the largest one. I have a stack of crepe paper that I've cut into squares. I'm just going to place it on top. And you want to place it so that your template is following the lines of the crepe paper vertically. Your crepe paper has lines on it, and you want to make sure it's vertical, which will make it easier for stretching later on. So I'm slowly cutting out the template from the crepe paper. You can do this because the crepe paper is very thin, so you can stack a few together, but you also have to be very careful because it is thin, it tears very easily. Okay, so you can see I've cut out some templates here. I'm going to just, I like to have it nice and even and clean, so just trimmed it a bit there. And now I have most of them pre-cut. The next thing you're going to need is floral wire, which I'm going to bend the tip of this so that it doesn't stay sharp within the flower. But you may also use other items like a skewer or a toothpick. It doesn't have to be floral wire. Anything that you can wrap around the end. I've used toothpicks and then poked them through a styrofoam ball. I made mini roses, and that looks really cute. You can see here I have the vertical lines. I'm trying to show it. It's hard to see on the video, but once you look at crepe paper, you will see the lines clearly. And then you just start stretching along the middle to the top. You're going to do this very, very gently because, like I said, crepe paper is very thin and will tear easily. So I'm just going to work my way from the top to the bottom to make sure it's fully stretched, and you get this nice curve-like petal once you're done. And so you want to do this to all your petals before you start gluing so that they're ready to attach to the floral wire or whatever it is that you will be using. So you can see here I have all my petals nicely curled or stretched, and we're going to start gluing them to my floral wire. I like to make the wire a little shorter just because it's easier to maneuver while I'm gluing the petals on. So you want to start with the smallest petals, the ones that you have 8 of, and we're going to put glue along the bottom edge of the petal. If you are using hot glue like I am, please be careful. It is extremely hot, especially through the crepe paper. You're going to start rolling this onto the floral wire. And you can see that it makes, the center. As you add more petals to it, it will form a nice center of the flower. So you're just going to keep adding glue to the bottom of the petals and wrapping them around. You want to try to start in a different position each time so that your petals are not all in the same spot. So you kind of want to wrap them around slightly in a different spot than the previous petal. So we're going to continue on with the petals. You can see here I've got a third one, and it's now starting to form the center quite nicely. And the thing with hot glue, you always have lots of strings that keeps tugging at your project. Okay, so here I've got now is the fourth petal, and you can see how it's coming along, looking like a flower. We're going to continue adding petals until we start with the middle. Okay, so now I've completed the first layer, and we're going to continue with the second layer of the petals. So I'm just going to put the last one of the small on here. Okay, so you can see how the rose is starting to form and it's looking very pretty. So we're going to start with the medium-sized petals. You have about 5 of those to glue on. And it's the same process. We're going to add glue to the bottom of the petal, and we're going to start wrapping it around. Okay, so we're going to add one of the petals. You can see the base of the flower is also getting wider, so you're not wrapping around as tightly. I'm just trying to get rid of all the strings. They're attached to my hands. Okay, so here we go with the next petal. And you can see that I've started slightly on the opposite side of the first medium-sized petal that we've put on. This will make for more of an authentic looking rose. So now the third one will go into that other gap there that I've just pointed out. And like I said earlier, if you continuously put them in the same spot, you're going to get a very one-sided rose. So you don't want them all in the same spot. They have to be slightly rotated around so that you get a nice flower appearance. And when you're making your rose or whatever flower you're making, just look at it to see where the gap is. That will tell you where to place your next petal, so to fill in the gap. And now I've got the last of the medium-sized petal, and we're just going to place that next and then start with the large. So you can see, I'm trying to show the side so you can see how, it starts to form along the bottom as well as the top. It does get quite thick at the bottom, which makes it easier for gluing actually, because if you have more paper to glue against, it stays a little better than just the wire. So now we're going to start with the next size petal, which is the large. You have 6 of those. And again, we're going to add glue to the bottom, and we're going to wrap this around the bottom of the rose. And you can see how it starts filling in. So now I'm going to want to fill in that other gap there. You can see that it's the next, it's right next to the first large petal but slightly off so that it fills in the gaps. And the thing with the crepe flowers, if you do make a mistake, you're not really going to notice it. You can add another petal to fill in, what you've missed, or actually you can even just tear it off. If you really don't like where you've put the petal, crepe paper is so easy to tear off, and you place another one on top and you won't even notice it. So you can see I'm continuously looking to see where to place it. You can also, try to place it before you add the glue to see if you like it in that spot, and then add the glue. But now you can see it's starting to form a flower. One side is slightly bigger, so you know you need to add your petals to the other side to fill it in. And I may actually need maybe 1 or 2 more than the 6 that I had originally thought. And again, you don't have to stop at the 6. If you wanted to make it even larger, you can make another size template that's slightly larger than the large. So you can have 4 and make a really large flower. You can also make your templates really large and make a giant crepe rose. So you can play around with the different sizes. You just have to remember that the petals that you do use, they have to be just slightly bigger. You don't want them too big or too small from the others, because it won't look right. So you can see I'm trying to see where to put the next one, and I see that there's a gap there, so we're going to add another one. And as it's filling in, it's looking more and more like a rose, and it takes on a really pretty shape. And once you're, getting to the end of your flower, you can start pulling the crepe layers apart so it just looks more full and not so bunched in together. There, it's just starting to look lovely. And I think I do need one more, so I'm going to quickly make another. I've got one I've cut out quickly, and I'm just going to stretch it out and add it on. And you can see how that fills it in perfectly. So now the rose is more symmetrical. It looks nice and full. And there you have it. So I hope you enjoyed this program today, and please check out the other videos I have on this channel. The other thing you can do before I finish is that you can wrap the floral wire in floral tape. I don't have any due to the shutdown. I couldn't get my hands on any, but you can make several of these. You can tie them together using the floral wire. And the floral wire makes it easy to tie it to something else. I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks again, and have a great day.